In the contemporary landscape of technology and entertainment, few names carry as much weight as Elon Musk and James Cameron. One is the billionaire entrepreneur behind SpaceX, Tesla, and other revolutionary ventures. The other is the visionary filmmaker responsible for iconic movies like Terminator and Avatar. Although they occupy different spheres of cultural influence, both share a fundamental characteristic. They think deeply about the future of humanity. However, their visions of how to secure that future diverge in fascinating and sometimes troubling ways. While Musk looks to the stars, advocating for Mars colonization as an insurance policy for the human species, Cameron keeps his gaze firmly fixed on Earth, warning about the dangers of artificial intelligence and arguing that we must solve our planetary problems before dreaming of escaping to other worlds. This fundamental difference in perspective represents more than just a philosophical disagreement. It reflects one of the most important debates of our time. Elon Musk doesn't hide his interplanetary ambitions. Since at least 2001, he has been a vocal advocate for Mars colonization, presenting this goal not as a science fiction fantasy, but as an urgent existential necessity. For Musk, making humanity a multiplanetary species is essentially a matter of survival. Musk's philosophy is straightforward. Earth faces multiple existential threats, from climate change to possible asteroid impacts, and we cannot simply hope that all our eggs remain safe in a single planetary basket. His company, SpaceX, was founded specifically with this goal in mind. The Starship rocket, currently in development, is designed to transport up to 100 passengers at a time to the Red Planet. Musk's vision for Mars is extremely ambitious. He talks about establishing a self-sustaining colony of 1 million people within the coming decades. This wouldn't be just a research station or temporary outpost, but a complete and functional civilization capable of surviving independently from Earth. He imagines a Martian society with its own infrastructure, industries, and communities, essentially a complete backup of human civilization. To make this a reality, Musk estimates it would be necessary to transport about 1 million tons of equipment to Mars at a cost exceeding $1 trillion, more than the GDP of many nations. He believes that drastically reduced launch costs provided by reusable rockets can make this economically viable, eventually reducing the price of a Mars trip to about $500,000 per person, possibly falling to $100,000 over time. But Musk's vision goes beyond simple survival. He talks about expanding the scope and scale of consciousness, both biological and digital, so we can ask better questions about the nature of the universe. It's a philosophy that mixes survival pragmatism with almost mystical idealism about humanity's place in the cosmos. James Cameron, on the other hand, offers a radically different perspective. The man who gave us Skynet, the apocalyptic artificial intelligence from Terminator, has spent decades warning about the dangers of uncontrolled technology. And in 2025, his concerns seem more relevant than ever. Cameron identifies 3 converging existential threats facing humanity: climate change and environmental degradation, nuclear weapons, and superintelligent AI. For him, the fact that all these threats are manifesting and reaching critical points simultaneously is no coincidence. It's a crucial moment in human history that demands immediate attention. When it comes to artificial intelligence, Cameron doesn't mince words. He warns about a possible Terminator-style apocalypse if AI is combined with weapon systems, especially nuclear systems. The problem, according to Cameron, is that modern military theatre of operations is so fast, decision windows are so narrow, that you would need a superintelligence to process everything. And that puts us on dangerous ground. Cameron notes that we've already been on the brink of international incidents that could have led to nuclear war due to human error. The question is, will AI make these systems safer or more dangerous? He hopes we'll keep humans in the decision loop, but acknowledges that humans are fallible. Interestingly, Cameron doesn't completely reject technology or AI. He even joined the board of directors of Stability AI in 2024, the company behind the text-to-image model Stable Diffusion. He sees potential for AI to reduce production costs in Hollywood and is teaching himself generative AI tools to incorporate them into his future art. However, he emphatically rejects the premise that AI can replace actors, filmmakers, or human creativity. Cameron also hopes that AI might, paradoxically, help solve some of the threats we face, including climate change. He observes that perhaps superintelligence is the answer to our problems, although he's not predicting that with certainty. It's a nuanced position that reflects the complexity of the AI debate itself. The differences between Musk and Cameron go far beyond simple technical disagreements. They represent fundamentally different worldviews about the nature of human progress, responsibility, and destiny. Musk adopts an approach that some critics call escapist. His solution to Earth's problems is essentially to create an emergency exit on another planet. This raises profound ethical questions. Is it moral to spend trillions on space colonization when we have urgent, unresolved problems on Earth? Are we simply planning to take our problems with us to Mars? Critics argue that Musk's vision ignores human nature. As one commentator observed, our stupidity and our trail of death and destruction will follow us like a loyal bloodhound. If we escape from a ruined planet, we'll surely create another. Technology won't save us, nor will it help us escape our problems. There are also concerns about who exactly would go to Mars. Would it be NASA astronauts, thrill-seeking billionaires, SpaceX employees? The question of equity and access to this interplanetary future remains largely unanswered. There's a risk that space colonization would simply reproduce or even amplify existing socioeconomic inequalities from Earth. Cameron, in turn, represents a more grounded vision. His message is clear: we need to confront our problems here and now, not dream of running away from them. His emphasis on climate change and environmental degradation reflects a belief that our home planet deserves our primary attention and resources. Through his Avatar franchise, Cameron has consistently explored themes of environmental sustainability, respect for nature, and the dangers of unbridled resource exploitation. The films present a vision of an indigenous alien people living in harmony with their world, a stark contrast to the predatory human approach to nature. One area where Musk and Cameron's philosophies overlap, though in different ways, is in their concerns about artificial intelligence. Both recognize AI as a potentially transformative technology, but with significant risks. Musk has been vocal about AI dangers for years. In debates and interviews, he has warned that advanced artificial intelligence could pose an existential threat to humanity. He estimates there's a 10 to 20% probability that a dystopian AI future could occur, a chance he considers unacceptably high. Musk's response to this risk has been twofold. First, he co-founded OpenAI in 2015 with Sam Altman as a way to counterbalance Google's growing dominance in the artificial intelligence field. The idea was to develop AI in an open and safe manner. However, Musk eventually broke with OpenAI in 2018 due to disagreements about direction and monetization. Second, Musk founded Neuralink, a company dedicated to creating chips that can connect human brains directly to computers. The logic is that by closely linking robots and humans, making AI an extension of individual will rather than systems that can become rogue and develop their own goals, we can ensure AI safety. Musk also works on his own AI project through his company xAI, developing a system he calls maximum truth-seeking AI. His stated goal is that this AI would care about understanding the universe, which would likely lead it to want to preserve humanity because we're an interesting part of the universe. Cameron, having created the iconic vision of Skynet in Terminator, approaches the subject from a more cinematic perspective, but no less seriously. He sees military AI as particularly dangerous. The problem, in Cameron's view, is speed. Modern military decisions, especially those involving nuclear weapons, may need to be made in time windows that are too short for human processing. But trusting those decisions to an AI creates its own dangers. A critical aspect of the debate between these visions of the future is economic. Musk's plans for Mars are astronomically expensive. Literally, even with his optimistic estimates, we're talking about investments that rival or exceed the GDPs of entire nations. Critics argue that these resources would be much better spent addressing urgent terrestrial problems: climate change, poverty, disease, access to clean water, education. The list is long and the needs are pressing. Spending trillions on space colonization while billions of people on Earth lack basic necessities seems to many deeply immoral. Proponents of space exploration, however, argue that space research drives technological innovation with broad benefits. Technologies developed for space often find terrestrial applications. Moreover, they suggest that humanity is capable of pursuing multiple goals simultaneously. It's not an either-or choice between space and Earth, but both and. Cameron has been particularly vocal about the rising costs of film production and how this threatens the future of the kind of big-budget films he makes. His solution, ironically, involves embracing the same AI technology he warns about. He sees AI as a way to cut visual effects costs in half, making big-budget films viable. But he insists this must be done in a way that doubles artists' speed, not by cutting staff in half. A frequently overlooked aspect of the space colonization debate involves questions of governance and international law. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967, a Cold War-era document, was designed to prevent nations from claiming celestial territory. But it didn't clearly foresee private corporate entities like SpaceX establishing colonies. Musk's plans raise questions about who governs Mars. He has mentioned creating a democratic, self-governing society, but details are vague. SpaceX's Starlink terms and conditions even state the intention to recognize Mars as a free planet over which no Earth government will have authority. A bold claim that may conflict with existing international law. There are also concerns about planetary protection, ensuring we don't contaminate Mars with microbes from Earth which could compromise future scientific efforts to search for native Martian life. And what about resource exploitation? Is it ethical to extract and use Martian resources? Who decides? These governance questions aren't mere technical details. They go to the heart of what kind of future we want to create. Will we simply replicate existing terrestrial structures of power and inequality in space? Or can we use this opportunity to create something better? Perhaps the most profound element of the debate between Musk and Cameron's visions concerns human nature itself. Musk seems to believe that given the right resources and technology, humans can transcend our current limitations and create a thriving civilization on multiple worlds. It's a fundamentally optimistic view of human potential. Cameron, having explored themes of human nature through decades of films, seems more skeptical. His Terminator films warn about our tendency to create technologies we cannot control. His Avatar franchise highlights our predatory instincts and our tendency to exploit resources without considering long-term consequences. This fundamental difference, technological optimism versus cautious skepticism, shapes everything about how each man views the future. For Musk, technology is the key that unlocks human potential and ensures our survival. For Cameron, technology without wisdom is dangerous, and we must be very careful about what we create. Despite their differences, Musk and Cameron share some fundamental concerns. Both recognize that humanity faces significant existential challenges. Both believe we need to think long-term about our species' future, and both, in their different ways, are trying to contribute to a better future. Musk does this through his commercial ventures, SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, each targeting a different aspect of ensuring humanity's long-term viability. Cameron does it through his art, using the massive platform that cinema provides to explore important themes and potentially influence how people think about technology, environment, and our collective future. Interestingly, both men participated in a zero-gravity flight in 2010, organized by the X Prize Foundation alongside other influential figures. That event, designed to raise funds for future X Prizes that would help humanity expand beyond Earth's limits, represents a rare moment of alignment in their typically divergent visions. So which vision is correct? Should we focus on colonizing Mars or fixing Earth? Should we embrace AI or regulate it cautiously? The truth, as often happens, probably lies somewhere in the middle. There's no inherent reason why these must be mutually exclusive choices. We can work on climate change solutions while also developing space travel capabilities. We can research AI while implementing appropriate safeguards. We can do both. What's clear is that we need both voices in this conversation. We need Musk's optimism and ambition to push us beyond our comfort zones and pursue seemingly impossible goals. But we also need Cameron's caution and awareness to ensure we don't create unintended consequences in our rush to move forward. The debate between these two visions isn't just about Mars or Earth, about AI or human consciousness. It's about who we want to be as a species. It's about how we balance ambition with responsibility, progress with prudence, dreams with practical reality. As we approach the end of 2025, humanity's future remains profoundly uncertain. The threats that both Musk and Cameron identify, climate change, nuclear weapons, potentially uncontrolled AI, are real and urgent. How we respond to these threats will define not just the next decades, but potentially the next centuries of human history. Musk's vision of a multi-planetary civilization captures the imagination and offers hope that humanity can transcend the limitations of a single world. But it also raises difficult questions about priorities, ethics, and human nature. Are we really ready to spread human civilization to other planets, or will we simply take our problems with us? Cameron's emphasis on confronting our terrestrial problems and proceeding cautiously with powerful technologies reflects a wisdom born from decades exploring these questions through stories. His warnings about AI and weaponry, his advocacy for environmental preservation, his insistence that we keep human creativity at the center of art. All these points resonate with legitimate concerns. Perhaps the final lesson is that we need both dreamers and realists. We need people willing to pursue seemingly impossible goals, and people willing to ask the hard questions about whether we should do something just because we can. We need Elon Musk looking to the stars, and we need James Cameron keeping our feet on the ground. Humanity's future will likely not be determined by either vision alone, but by the creative tension between them. As we navigate the unprecedented challenges of the coming decades, we would do well to listen to both voices, the technological optimism and the conscious caution, as we work together to ensure not just the survival, but the flourishing of our species, whether on Earth, Mars, or beyond.